The steam choked the air like a lover's desperate gasp, and Joshua's heart slammed against his ribs as Samuel dropped to his knees in the shower, water pounding their naked skin like Judgment Day rain. "I can't do this without telling you the truth," Samuel choked out, his voice cracking over the roar, eyes locked on Joshua's with a rawness that stripped away every lie they told themselves that night. In that suspended moment, slick and exposed under the relentless spray, Joshua realized this Grindr hookup wasn't ending in ecstasy. It was shattering into something far more dangerous. The kind of love that demands you confront the ghosts you've both been running from. Joshua had always sworn off the app after that last disaster, the one where the guy ghosted mid-makeout, leaving him staring at his reflection in a bar bathroom mirror, wondering if he was just too broken for this. New York chewed you up if you let it, especially when you were 28, a graphic designer scraping by in a Bushwick walk-up, nursing a cocktail of loneliness and unhealed wounds from a college ex who'd called him too intense before vanishing into the straight world. Grindr was his guilty escape, a pixelated promise of friction without strings. But tonight, swiping left on faceless torsos, he'd paused on Samuel's profile, salt and pepper stubble framing a jawline sharp as a Brooklyn edge, hazel eyes that screamed trouble with a side of poetry, and a bio that read, "Artist seeking muse." No games, just real. It was bullshit. Joshua knew, everyone lied. But something in that photo, the way Samuel's smile crooked like he'd just survived a storm, hooked him deep. They met at a dive bar in the East Village, the kind with sticky floors and neon signs flickering like faulty heartbeats. Joshua arrived early, nursing a whiskey neat, his nerves jangling like the subway he'd ridden over. When Samuel walked in, taller than his pics suggested, in a faded Ramones tee and jeans that hugged his thighs like they were painted on, Joshua's stomach flipped. "You look even better in person," Samuel said, sliding onto the stool beside him, his voice a low rumble with a faint southern drawl that didn't match the New York grit. Joshua laughed it off, but inside, he was already unraveling. The way Samuel's knee brushed his under the bar, casual but electric. Conversation flowed like cheap bourbon. Samuel was a painter from Savannah who'd fled the Bible Belt for the city's chaos 5 years back, crashing in a Williamsburg loft stacked with canvases of fractured cityscapes, rooftops bleeding into storm clouds, lovers tangled in shadows. "I paint what I can't say," he confessed over their second round, his fingers tracing the rim of his glass, inches from Joshua's. Joshua opened up too, more than he meant to, the dead-end job at a soulless ad firm. The family back in Ohio who'd never know their son was gay because it just wasn't discussed. The ex named Tyler who'd promised forever then bailed for a normal life in the suburbs. "You're not broken," Samuel murmured, his hand covering Joshua's, thumb stroking the knuckles in a rhythm that felt like absolution. By the third drink, they were leaning in, breaths mingling, the bar's hum fading to white noise. Outside, the November chill bit through their jackets as they stumbled toward the subway, but the heat between them burned hotter. "My place," Joshua blurted, heart hammering, and Samuel's grin was all teeth and promise. "Lead the way, Muse." The train ride was torture, crowded car pressing them close, Samuel's lips grazing Joshua's ear with whispers of what he'd do once they were alone. Joshua's apartment was a fifth-floor shoebox, posters of Basquiat peeling from the walls, a bed unmade like his intentions. They barely made it through the door before clothes hit the floor, hands mapping uncharted territories, mouths hungry for the taste of someone new. It escalated fast, a whirlwind of skin and sighs, until Samuel pulled back in the dim lamplight, eyes dark with want. Shower, he growled, voice husky, and Joshua led him there. The tiny bathroom, a fogged sanctuary under the weak fluorescent. Water hissed to life, scalding at first, then perfect, steam rising like incense as they stepped under the spray. Joshua pressed Samuel against the tile, their bodies slick and urgent, lips crashing in a kiss that tasted of whiskey and rain. Samuel's hands roamed lower, teasing, promising, until he sank to his knees with a splash, water sheeting off his shoulders, looking up at Joshua with that crooked smile turned reverent. But then the words tumbled out, shattering the haze. Joshua, wait. God, I have to tell you. I'm not who you think. Joshua froze, the water drumming his back like accusations, his arousal twisting into dread. Samuel's hands gripped his thighs, not in seduction but supplication, tears carving paths through the rivulets on his face. My name's not Samuel. The Sam Whitaker. And 5 years ago, I was engaged to Tyler. You're Tyler. The name hit like a gut punch. Tyler, the ghost who'd haunted Joshua's dreams. The boy who'd whispered, I love you, in frat house beds before dawn, only to marry a sorority girl 6 months later and vanish into heteronormative bliss. Joshua's knees buckled, but he caught himself on the wall, the tile cold against his palm. What the fuck? He rasped, voice barely audible over the spray. Samuel, stayed on his knees, head bowed now, as if in confession. I didn't know it was you until tonight, when you mentioned Ohio State. The tattoos, the laugh. Clicked. Tyler's my twin brother. He sent me here. Not like this, he doesn't know. But he reached out last month, begging me to check on you. Said you'd been spiraling, that he still cared, in his fucked up way. Betrayal bloomed hot in Joshua's chest, a thorned vine wrapping his ribs. Tyler, the coward who'd shattered him, now puppeteering from afar through his brother, and Sam had played along, swiping right on Grindr like it was fate, when it was just another layer of deceit. You used me, Joshua spat, shoving away, but there was no room in the stall, water trapping them in intimacy's cruel echo. Sam's eyes lifted, shattered glass in the dim light. No. I swear, when I saw your profile, I froze. I should have bailed, but fuck, Joshua, you're the reason I left Savannah. Tyler told me about you years ago, in whispers, like you were his biggest regret. I came to New York chasing art, but really, I was chasing what he threw away. A life where I didn't have to hide. Joshua's mind reeled, fragments of the night replaying. The bar's laughter, the subway spark, the bed's tangle, all poison now. He'd fallen fast, too fast, into Sam's orbit, seeing in him the man Tyler could have been if he'd chosen courage over convention. But this was a cruel cosmic joke. Twins trading places in a farce of fate. Get out, he whispered, turning off the water with a jerk, the sudden silence deafening. Sam rose slowly, dripping, vulnerable, reaching out. Please. Let me explain. Tyler's marriage is crumbling. He's got kids now, but he's dying inside. He thinks if he can make it right with you, remotely, through me. But I can't do that. Not when this feels real. The word hung between them like smoke, and Joshua hated how it tugged at him, even through the rage. He grabbed a towel, wrapping it around his waist, storming into the bedroom, Sam trailing like a shadow. The city lights bled through the blinds, casting bars across the rumpled sheets. Joshua sank onto the bed, head in hands, the weight of it all crashing down. Why kneel like that? In the shower, of all places. Were you mocking me? Some biblical baptism into your family's bullshit. Sam knelt again, this time on the hardwood, towel loose around his hips, voice raw. Because I couldn't stand up and lie anymore. The water felt like absolution, like washing away the years I wasted pretending. I'm gay, Joshua. Have been since I was 15, watching Tyler date girls and wishing I could tell him why it hurt so much. He guessed once, but I denied it. Ran instead. And now, here you are, the guy he broke, the one I dreamed of fixing. Tears spilled freely now, Sam's broad shoulders shaking, and Joshua's resolve cracked, just a hair. He knew that pain, the closet's suffocating dark, the South's judgmental glare. Savannah wasn't Ohio, but it was close enough in cruelty. Fix me, Joshua echoed, bitter laugh escaping. You don't know me, Sam. Tyler didn't either. He saw the eager freshman, the one who'd follow him anywhere. But I'm not that kid anymore. I'm the one who rebuilt after he left, who learned to love the mess of myself. Yet even as he said it, his hand moved, unbidden, to Sam's damp hair, fingers threading through like forgiveness. Sam leaned into the touch, eyes closing. Then let me know you now. Not for him. For us. The night fractured there, into fits of talking and silence, accusations laced with vulnerability. Joshua paced the tiny living room, chain-smoking menthols out the fire escape, while Sam huddled on the couch, sketching feverishly on a napkin, abstract swirls of blue and gray, capturing the storm between them. Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, painting the skyline in hues of regret. Joshua watched Sam sleep, finally, curled like a question mark, and felt the pull, hatred for the lie, hunger for the man. Betrayal wasn't a clean cut. It festered, but so did desire. By morning, over cold coffee in mismatched mugs, they forged a truce, fragile as rice paper. No more Tyler, Joshua demanded, voice steel. This is ours. Or nothing. Sam nodded, hazel eyes steady. Ours. And just like that, the Grindr ghost morphed into something alive. A tentative romance, born in steam and secrets, set against the relentless pulse of New York. Weeks blurred into a fever dream of stolen moments, the city their chaotic accomplice. Joshua's days dragged at the ad firm, mocking up logos for energy drinks that promised vitality he chased in Sam's arms. Nights, they'd wander the village, hands brushing in crowds, lips meeting in shadowed alleys where the risk of being seen thrilled like lightning. Sam painted with a frenzy Joshua had never inspired, canvases exploding with color now, vibrant reds slashing through blues, figures entwined in ecstatic defiance. You're my revolution, Sam murmured one evening, dabbing paint on Joshua's cheek in his loft, the scent of turpentine mingling with their sweat. But the specter of Tyler loomed, a crack in their foundation. It started small, a missed call on Sam's phone, screen lighting up with bro in the dead of night. Joshua pretended not to notice, but the seed of doubt sprouted thorns. Then came the letters, unsigned at first, slipped under Joshua's door like anonymous valentines, but laced with poison. He's using you to get to me. Run while you can. Joshua burned them in the sink. Flames dancing like accusations. But the words lingered, echoing Tyler's old manipulations. Sam sensed the shift, pulling Joshua closer in bed, bodies fitting like puzzle pieces forged in fire. Talk to me, he'd urge, tracing the faded scar on Joshua's hip from a drunken bike crash post-breakup. Joshua would deflect with kisses, deep and devouring, losing himself in the rhythm of Sam's breath, the way his stubble rasped against collarbones. Sex became their language, raw and reparative. Lazy Sundays tangled in sheets, urgent fucks against the kitchen counter after gallery openings. Joshua learned Sam's tells. The hitch in his laugh when he was nervous, the way his fingers drummed sonatas on Joshua's thigh during movies. In return, Sam coaxed out Joshua's sketches, forgotten doodles turning into bold designs that landed him a freelance gig illustrating a queer poetry chapbook. Yet the conflict simmered. One rain-lashed afternoon, holed up in a Chelsea cafe, Joshua confronted it. Does he know about us? The question hung heavy, steam from their lattes curling like questions. Sam's face tightened, jaw clenching. I told him to back off. That you're not his redemption project. But his eyes darted, and Joshua's gut twisted. Later, rifling through Sam's jacket for gum, innocent, he told himself, he found the photo. Tyler and Sam, mirror images at 18, arms slung around each other at a tailgate, grins wide and unscarred. Tucked behind was a note in Tyler's scrawl. Help me fix this. For old times. Rage boiled over that night. Joshua storming Sam's loft unannounced. The door banging open to reveal Sam on the phone. Voice low and pleading. I can't just ghost him. Joshua's shout cut him off. Me. Say it. I'm the he you're pimping out for your brother's guilt trip. Sam dropped the phone, scrambling up from the easel, paint-splattered hands raised. Joshua. No. It's not. But the lie cracked open, spilling truths. Tyler's marriage in freefall, his closet door creaking ajar after therapy, begging Sam to test the waters with Joshua as proxy, to see if absolution was possible without facing the man he'd ruined. You let him in, Joshua hurled, chest heaving, tears hot on his cheeks. Our bed, our city, it's all tainted. Sam crossed the room in 2 strides, gripping Joshua's arms, desperation etching lines around his eyes. I ended it. That call? Me telling him to fuck off for good. You're not a pawn, Joshua. You're my everything. The kiss that followed was war. Teeth clashing, nails raking, a collision of hurt and hunger. They collapsed onto the dropcloth, surrounded by half-finished portraits of each other, bodies moving in frantic apology. In the afterglow, tangled and spent, Sam whispered confessions, his own coming out at 22, disowned by their preacher father, the years of hookups masking a void only Joshua filled. I fell first, Sam admitted, voice muffled against Joshua's neck. Before the shower. Before Grindr. When Tyler described you, I was jealous of him, not you. Healing was jagged, but they carved paths through it. Joshua quit the firm, channeling fury into art, murals for a queer youth center in Harlem. Bold strokes of defiance splashed across brick. Sam curated his first solo show, Fractured Mirrors, canvases exploring twinship's curse and queer reclamation, with Joshua as muse in every frame. Their love deepened in the mundane, grocery runs debating quinoa versus grits, Lazy brunches at Sarabeth's where Sam's drawl charmed waiters into extra bacon. But betrayal's echo lingered, a low hum under their harmony, waiting for crescendo. The climax erupted on a sweltering July eve, the city a pressure cooker of heat and unrest. Tyler showed up, uninvited, unannounced, on Joshua's doorstep, suit rumpled, eyes hollowed by suburbia's slow poison. "I need to see you," he said, voice the same velvet trap from college, but cracked now, desperation bleeding through. Joshua's blood ran cold, slamming the door, but Tyler's fist pounded, words seeping under. "Sam lied too. He always wanted what was mine." Joshua's hand shook on the knob. Sam's warnings from earlier texts. "Stay away. He's spiraling," clashing with the pull of unfinished business. He let Tyler in, against every screaming instinct, the apartment shrinking under the weight of history. Tyler paced, unbuttoning his collar like shedding skin, spilling it all. The wedding vows choked on lies, the kids he adored but couldn't model authenticity for, the therapy epiphanies naming his bisexuality too late. "I never stopped loving you," he said, stepping close, hand brushing Joshua's arm, the touch electric, traitorous. Joshua recoiled, but the room spun, old flames flickering dangerously. That's when Sam burst in, key he'd copied in trust now a weapon of intrusion, face thunderous. "Get out," Sam roared at his twin, shoving him toward the door. Tyler whirled, venom spitting. "You stole him," pretended to be me. In some fucked-up Oedipal revenge, the brothers collided, fists flying in a blur of shared blood and buried rage. Sam's nose blooming red, Tyler's lip splitting on the coffee table's edge. Joshua wedged between them, shouting hoarsely, "Enough!" They broke apart, panting, the air thick with the metallic tang of blood and betrayal's brine. Tyler staggered up, wiping his mouth, eyes locking on Joshua with fractured plea. "Choose. Him or the truth." But Joshua's voice, when it came, was iron, "Neither. I'm done being your mirror." Tyler slunk out into the night, tail between legs. The doors click a guillotine on their past. Sam collapsed against the wall, sobbing, the fight's adrenaline crashing into guilt. "I should have told you sooner. About the calls, the pressure. I thought I could protect us." Joshua knelt, drawing him close, their bloodied shirts mingling stains like vows. "You did. In the end, that night, they cleaned wounds with hydrogen peroxide and whispers, the violence purging something primal. Love," Joshua realized, wasn't absence of conflict, it was surviving the storm together. Autumn arrived like a reluctant therapist, leaves turning gold in Central Park as Joshua and Sam's bond tempered in forgiveness's forge. They moved in together, Sam's loft, with its high ceilings and Hudson views, swallowing Joshua's clutter like an embrace. Mornings became rituals, Joshua sketching at the kitchen island while Sam brewed chicory coffee, strong and black like his moods. They'd fuck slow then, sunlight slanting through skylights, bodies rediscovering trust in languid strokes. "I love you," Sam said first. One crisp October dawn, the words a bridge over the chasm Tyler had carved. Joshua echoed them back, tasting freedom in the syllables. But the humanistic undercurrent pulled deeper, beyond romance's glow. Joshua's murals caught eyes, leading to commissions for a pride float, rainbow veins pulsing across a flatbed truck, symbolizing fractured families mending. Sam joined, his paintings adorning the sides, Twins divided by lightning, reunited in spectrum light. At the parade, hands linked amid the roar. They felt the city's queer pulse affirm them. Drag queens on stilts, leathermen locking arms, a tapestry of survival. Yet whispers followed, Tyler sightings in therapy groups upstate, rumors of divorce papers filed. Joshua ignored them, focusing on now the way Sam's laugh boomed at comedy clubs, how he'd hum Johnny Cash in the shower, off-key and endearing. Conflict reignited subtly, a slow burn. Sam's show sold out, critics praising the visceral twin motif, but success unearthed insecurities. Late nights, he'd pace the studio, brush in hand, muttering about imposter syndrome. What if I'm just echoing him? Tyler always said I painted to compete. Joshua would pull him to bed, countering with facts. The way Sam's art breathed alive, unlike Tyler's sterile law degree. But doubt festered, manifesting in distance. Sam canceling dinners for inspiration walks, returning reeking of dive bars and regret. Joshua confronted it over Thanksgiving. The loft strung with fairy lights, turkey roasting in the oven, a nod to their southern roots, reclaimed. "You're pulling away," he said. Carving knife paused mid-slice. Sam leaned against the counter, arms crossed, vulnerability cracking his facade. "It's the truth you deserve." I reached out to Tyler. After the fight. Not for him for closure. He admitted he pushed me toward you because he couldn't face you himself. And I let it happen, because part of me wanted to hurt him back for all the years he got the easy path. The admission landed soft, not shattering, like a leaf in wind. Joshua set down the knife, crossing to Sam, hands framing his face. "And did it hurt him?" Sam shook his head, eyes glistening. "No." Freed me. Told him I'm done bridging his gaps. That my life, our life is mine. They kissed then, gravy bubbling forgotten, the holiday's weight lifting in shared breath. Dinner was messy, laughter-laced, calls to estranged families dodged with toasts to chosen kin. That night, under a blanket fort of drop cloths, they made love with deliberate tenderness, mapping scars like constellations, affirming wholeness. Winter wrapped them in isolation's cocoon, snow blanketing the city in hush. Joshua's freelance boomed, a book cover for a coming-out memoir earning him bylines in queer mags. Sam Boyd started a workshop for LGBTQ+ artists fleeing conservative states. Safe space in the loft, easels circled like campfires, stories spilling freer than paint. Joshua volunteered, facilitating talks on betrayal's alchemy, turning leaden pain to golden narrative. One session, a kid from Alabama shared his twins' rejection post-coming out, mirroring Sam's history. Tears flowed communal, cathartic, binding them all in humanistic weave. Yet the arc demanded one final betrayal, intimate and unforeseen. Valentine's approached, Joshua planning a surprise, rooftop picnic under strung lights, champagne chilling. He'd found an old letter from Tyler in Sam's sketchbook, not malicious but poignant. "Forgive me for us both, brother." It wasn't deceit, but omission, Sam holding on to ghosts without sharing. Heart aching, Joshua confronted him mid-rehearsal, workshop chatter dying as tension crackled. "Why keep it? After everything?" Sam's face crumpled, brush clattering. "I didn't want to drag his shadow back. Thought I could bury it alone." The artists watched, silent witnesses, as Joshua's voice rose, raw with accumulated grief. "Alone? We're supposed to be partners, not parallel lives. Sam stepped forward, voice breaking. I was scared of losing you to my mess. The room held breath. Then a young woman spoke. Mess makes the masterpiece. Applause rippled, diffusing the storm. Joshua exhaled, pulling Sam into a hug amid cheers. The betrayal transmuted to teaching moment. Climax brewed not in violence, but vulnerability's peak. February's eve. Snow falling thick. Tyler called, voice slurred. Suicidal ideation threading his words. I can't do this anymore. The divorce. The kids. It's all because of you. Both of you. Sam froze. Phone trembling. Joshua took it. Tone steady. This isn't on us, Tyler. Your choices. Your chains. Break them for yourself. They talked him down, guiding to a hotline, the call an exorcism of sorts. Tyler's sobs echoing old pains, but ending in fragile promise, therapy, twice weekly. In the aftermath, Sam shattered, curling fetal on the floor, Joshua cradling him through the sobs. I hate him, Sam gasped, but I love him. And you, Joshua rocked him, whispering, love's not zero-sum. Room for both. Without eclipse. Dawn found them on the fire escape. City hushed under white, sharing a cigarette in companionable silence. Betrayal's layers peeled, revealing core, family as flawed mirror, reflecting growth. Spring unfurled tentative, cherry blossoms defiant against concrete. Joshua and Sam's love matured, roots delving deep, joint bank account for the workshop, matching tattoos of intertwined vines on wrists, symbolizing entanglement's grace. Tyler's updates came sporadic, progress reports via Sam. Separation finalized, coming out to kids with storybooks and honesty. No reconciliation with Joshua, but a nod across divides, humanistic in restraint. Summer scorched the asphalt, humidity a heavy shroud, but their rhythm held steady, a counterpoint to the heat. Joshua's book cover led to more, illustrating a graphic novel on queer history. Panels of Stonewall riots bleeding into modern marches. His style raw and urgent. Sam collaborated, painting end papers of fractured saints finding grace. Launches packed queer bookstores, fans queuing for signatures, their hands brushing under tables. Private Morse code of pride. We made it, Joshua whispered post-event, buzzed on free wine, hailing a cab to the loft. Sam's reply was a kiss in the back seat, fierce and public, daring the driver's glance. Yet under the triumph, emotional undercurrents swirled. Sam's workshop expanded, grants funding a gallery annex, but scaling unearthed old wounds, donors questioning twin themes as gimmick, probing his personal angle. Sam bristled, retreating to late-night canvases, bourbon his muse. Joshua found him once, dawn breaking, staring at a blank stretch. What if it's all derivative? Echoes of him. Not me. Joshua knelt, as Sam once had in the shower, hands on knees. Then paint the silence between. The you that's louder. Romance wove through the grit. Weekend escapes to the Hamptons. Borrowed beach house where they swam nude at midnight. Waves lapping like lovers' sighs. Sam taught Joshua to surf. Wipeouts dissolving into laughter. Salt-kissed kisses on the sand. Back in the city, they'd host potlucks. Queer chosen family crowding the loft. Stories of survival swapped over jambalaya. Joshua's mac and cheese a hit. One night, a trans elder shared her 80s AIDS vigils. tears flowing. Sam painted her portrait on the spot, Joshua sketching vignettes, the room alight with creation's fire. Betrayal's ghost stirred faintly, in forms evolved. Tyler, rebuilding, sent a package, childhood sketchbooks, Sam's early works alongside Tyler's doodles, annotated with apologies. For the rivalry I fueled, Sam burned half, kept the rest, sharing with Joshua over wine. It's not poison anymore, just paper. But Joshua glimpsed the cost. Sam's flinch at mirrors, twinship's eternal tether. Their intimacy deepened accordingly. Therapy sessions joint, unpacking closet's debris. I fear becoming him, Sam confessed once. Post-session, rain lashing windows. Joshua pulled him close. You're the brave one. Always were. Climax crested in August's haze. A gallery opening for the workshop's collective show. Reclaimed shadows. The space thrummed. Critics mingling with survivors. Sam's centerpiece a triptych. Echoes, fracture, union. Twins dissolving into lovers under auroral skies. Joshua's illustrations framed it. Murals wrapping walls in narrative arc. Midway, Tyler arrived, unbidden again, sober now, suit traded for chinos, eyes clear but haunted. He cornered Sam by the bar, voice low, proud of you. But this, it's my story too. Sam's jaw tightened, glancing to Joshua across the room, mid-conversation with a curator. The confrontation spilled private, into the back alley, cigarette smoke curtaining their words. Tyler's plea, let me contribute. A donor check. Anonymous. Sam laughed. Bitter sharp. Money can't buy absolution. Tyler pressed. Then words. Tell Joshua I'm sorry. From me. Not proxy. The air crackled. Old fists itching. But Sam held ground. Voice steady. He knows. And it's not yours to give anymore. Tyler deflated, nodding, vanishing into the night like smoke. Joshua found Sam inside, face ashen, pulling him to a quiet corner. He was here. Sam's nod. Then the flood. Not just the encounter, but a deeper truth unearthed in therapy. Tyler's manipulation stemmed from their father's abuse, repressed memories surfacing, twins as shields for each other. We protected him by breaking ourselves, Sam whispered, tears silent. Joshua's heart ached, not with jealousy, but empathy's expanse. Then heal together. From afar, they emerged arm in arm, toasting the crowd, the drama internalized, fueling art's quiet fire. Fall circled back, leaves a crimson carpet, their second anniversary marked by a vow, not legal, but sacred. Rings of hammered silver, engraved hours. Joshua's graphic novel launched to acclaim, tours taking him to Chicago, San Francisco, Sam tagging along, their hotel nights a blur of room service and reunion sex. Back home, the workshop thrived, alums crediting it for courage, one proposing at a showcase, cheers echoing Sam's early proposal in paint. Humanistic threads wove tighter. Volunteer shifts at a Bronx shelter, reading to queer youth. Joshua's voice steady on tales of love's resilience. Sam donated proceeds to Savannah's lone LGBTQ+ center, a bridge to roots. Tyler's life stabilized, custody shared, dating a man cautiously, emails to Sam sparse but sincere, grateful for the push, yet the story's emotional core pulsed in quiet beats. Sam's panic attack during a storm, thunder mimicking old Savannah tempests, Joshua holding him through, breathing synced like lifelines. Joshua's freelance slump. Doubts creeping. Sam countering with a custom easel. Create through the drought. Love, they learned, was verb active, adaptive, laced with grace. As winter loomed again, snow dusting fire escapes, Joshua reflected on the shower's genesis. Knees in steam, truths kneel birthing not end, but epic. Betrayal had been the forge, romance the blade, now honed for whatever tempests came. The new year dawned crystalline. Resolutions whispered over champagne flutes on New Year's rock. But for Joshua and Sam, it was evolution's quiet vow. Deeper roots, broader wings. Joshua's novel spawned a podcast series, Shadows Reclaimed, interviewing queer artists on betrayals gifts. Sam's voice featured first. Raw recount of the Grindr kneel, listeners flooding inboxes with Me Too echoes. The loft pulsed with purpose, walls lined with guest sketches, a corner office for Joshua's drafting table, their bed a sanctuary of flannel sheets and whispered dreams. Romance bloomed in maturity's soil, surprise weekends in the Catskills, hiking trails hand in hand, Sam's drawl narrating wildflowers like poems. They'd cook lowcountry boils, shrimp popping in garlic butter, laughter bubbling as Joshua botched the grits. Intimacy evolved too, less frantic, more profound, explorations tender under candlelight, bodies maps of shared history, scars badges of battles won. You're my horizon, Sam murmured one night, fingers tracing Joshua's spine, the city skyline a backdrop to their constellation. Conflict arose external now, the world's grind testing their weave. Sam's gallery faced gentrification threats, landlord hikes pricing out the workshop's heart. Protests erupted, queer activists chaining doors, media swarming. Sam fronted, megaphone in hand, Joshua snapping photos for viral posts. Arrests loomed, but solidarity surged, donations pouring, celebs amplifying. In the fray, old insecurities nipped, Sam snapping at Joshua's safe suggestions. You think I can't fight dirty? Joshua bit back. I think you don't have to alone. The rift peaked mid-March. Rain relentless. Loft flooded with stress eaters and unmet deadlines. Joshua, podcast taping remotely, caught Sam on a call. Tyler's voice tinny, congratulating a sale but probing. You sound strained. Joshua okay. Sam's deflection sharp, hanging up to find Joshua staring. Still his keeper? The accusation flew, dredging shower ghosts. Sam exploded. He's family, unlike some who bail at first crack. Joshua reeled, packing a bag for his old walk-up, door slamming like thunder. Exile lasted 3 days. Joshua crashing on a friend's couch, sketching furious abstracts of shattered glass. Sam painting voids, black expanses swallowing light. Calls went unanswered, texts unread, the silence a scalpel carving clarity. On day 4, Joshua returned, key turning soft, finding Sam asleep at the easel, canvas a storm of grays. He woke him with coffee, words halting, I get it. Family's mess. But we're that too. Don't shut me out. Sam pulled him down. Apologies in kisses. The fight's embers forging stronger steel. Never again, they vowed, sealing with a workshop mural. Intertwined fists against eviction notices. Community canvas. Spring's thaw mirrored their renewal. Gallery saved by crowdfund triumph. Workshop expanding to youth programs. Joshua's podcast hit top charts. Invites to TEDx-style talks. Sam co-presented, their story a beacon. From Grindr ghost to queer gospel. Tyler visited once. Neutral ground, a park bench. Kids in tow. Awkward but healing. Uncle Sam, they chorused. Hugging legs. Joshua hung back, smiling faint, the sight softening old barbs. Tyler's nod to him. You deserved better. Glad he gave it. No more. But enough, a humanistic hinge. Doors ajar, not flung. Summer sang again. Pride a victory lap, their float leading the march. Confetti rain and cheers a baptism anew. Post-parade. Rooftop party with the collective. Toasts to survival. Sam proposed mid-dance. Not ring but vow. Marry me? Legally. When the world catches up. Joshua's yes drowned in whoops. Their kiss fireworks against the Empire State glow. Autumn's palette deepened their palette. Joshua illustrating a children's book on diverse families. Sam's forward heartfelt. Workshop alums thrived. One opening a sister space in Philly, crediting their spark. Romance stayed flame. Anniversary in Savannah. Reclaimed. Dinners with Sam's aunt. The lone ally. Toasting absolution. Tyler joined peripherally. A group text for holidays. Boundaries firm. Winter's hush brought reflections gift. Sam's cancer scare. A lump, biopsied clean, but the fear a clarion. Hospital waits hand-clasped. Joshua's vigil fierce, emerging to tears and toasts. Life's too short for half-loves, Sam said, and they dove deeper, estate plans sketched. Adventures bucket. Road trip to Joshua's Ohio kin. Tentative outing over pie. Mother's hug tentative but real. Betrayal's final echo faded. Transmuted to gratitude. The shower kneel. Once wound. Now origin myth, their epic's alpha. Climax long past. They coasted in denouement's grace. Love a river carving canyons. Steady and profound. As November snow dusted again, Joshua watched Sam paint by window light. Brush dancing free. The city thrummed below, indifferent witness to their odyssey. From Grindr's spark to this human, flawed, luminous, they'd built a world. And in that, the unexpected truth, love's not revelation's end, but beginning's endless kneel.